Yeah, Bob here again. So essentially what I'm doing now is deepening the depth this way and the depth this way. And as I do, I will fit the binding and see how it feels, okay? Now I know that the depth this way is right on. It's right where I want it. So I won't make any more adjustments to the depth of the cut this way. However, I will make some adjustments to the depth of the cup this way because I'm not there yet. I'm close, but my binding is still sticking out about a 32nd of an inch. Let's call it, 3/4 of a millimeter out further than the sides. So as I feel this with my hands, I have one bad eye. I don't really even need my eyes here because my fingertips are telling me everything I need to know. And I still need to make the cut deeper on this side and on this side. And that's what I'm doing now. I also know with my router and my setup, once I get from the waist up perfect, I usually still need to go a little bit deeper this way from the waist down. And that's because the curvature of the back is more, okay? And the router isn't sitting totally square at that point. It's resting slightly at an angle, very slight. But I usually have to, after I get from the waist up, when I get that perfect, I don't touch that anymore. I'll usually put a pink line right here to tell me don't go beyond that line. And then I'll route this and I'll route it, I'll make slight adjustments to the router. And until I get this perfect, once it's perfect, then I'll stop, of course. I'm pretty close here, but it still has to go more. And in the upper bout as well, it's not there yet. So I can make another adjustment after I go all the way around. I'll go a little bit deeper. I'll make an adjustment to the router, go a little tiny bit deeper. You might say, well, how much? I don't measure it. What I do is I have a mark on the side of my gauge here, and I will get the slack out of the screw. I'll loosen the set screw, and I'll take a little tiny turn to make the cut deeper. And you'll say, well, how much is that turn? It's such a small amount, it's like, I can't give you a number. It's just a feel. And it's hard to screw it up if you go little by little. But this is my router, and the actual depth of the cut now is right on. It's right where I want it. It's just a hair over 1/4 inch. It's almost immeasurable, but it's slightly over 1/4 of an inch deep. And that's just in this case. Another guitar, I might go a little deeper. Or another guitar, I might go a little shallower. It really depends on how I'm feeling and what I'm the look I want in the end. It's not something that I do the same every single time. The depth can vary. Now, typically it's hardly ever beyond 1/4 of an inch deep. Okay, this way. I hardly ever go more than 1/4 because I don't like the bindings to look too big. But since I have quite a large purfling on here, the bindings aren't going to look big. They're going to look just about right. And in order to achieve that, because my purfling is deeper than some of them, I have to make the cut slightly deeper. There are times where I make this cut 3/16 of an inch instead of 1/4 of an inch. It really varies. But I won't go much more than 1/4. I don't like the look. Okay? So right now we've accomplished a lot yesterday by getting the basic route in there. Now I'm adjusting it. Of course, I have a lot of fuzz here, which I'll knock off with some sandpaper. Okay, and once I start getting closer, I will start getting pickier. I got my sandpaper with my rubber backing, and once I start getting closer, I will sand this, you know, all the way around. And I'm using 150 with the rubber back, double-sided sandpaper. What glue do I use to glue the two pieces together? I use rubber cement. Okay? See if I have it here. I use Elmer's rubber cement. And I usually buy a can of it and pour it in as this depletes. I'll pour fresh stuff in and simply coat. It's like contact cement. You coat both sides, let it dry for a bit, and then stick it together. And usually it's a folded piece of paper, folded piece of sandpaper. As an example, here's a perfect example. This is 150. I take it back. This is 220. What I would do is I would sand the paper. I would fold the paper in half like this. Okay? Now I got the fold, and I would paint the rubber cement on here, let it dry up a bit, and simply squeeze it together. And there I have this. Okay? So a little pro tip, or tip from a madman, whatever you want, but this is what I use. Elmer's rubber cement. You could use contact cement. That would work too. Okay, Bob out, and I hope you all have a great day.